Let's jump straight into it. Welcome to today's explainer. We're embarking on a journey today that is going to literally rebalance how we work. We're officially past that era of just using AI as a basic chat tool to brainstorm some ideas. Instead, we're unlocking a self-improving, fully autonomous digital workforce. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to build and command an AI empire that works tirelessly for you, even while you're fast asleep. Seriously, think about this quote for a second. Software now costs less than minimum wage. Let that sink in. We are living in a moment where the balance of power has completely shifted. AI has gone from being this neat little novelty to a highly capable, ridiculously cheap junior developer. We basically have digital workers at our fingertips that are as good, if not better, than human assistants for specific tasks. The question isn't whether AI can do the work anymore, it's how many minutes of the day you had these systems working for you while you just go about your life. And look, the stakes here couldn't be higher. We're talking about the AI agent market exceeding $50 billion within just the next 4 years. This isn't some passing trend, it's a fundamental economic shift. There are solo builders out there right now, literally working from their kitchen tables, clearing well over $1 million a year by leveraging AI agents to do the work of dozens of people. Mastering this agentic superpower, it's no longer optional. It's an absolute must if you want to stay competitive and massively scale your output. Okay, let's break this complex roadmap down cleanly into 5 parts. 1. The AI super app. 2. Anatomy of an AI agent. 3. The multi-brain strategy. 4. Mastering long-term goals. And 5. The Agentic operating system. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the AI super app, your workspace reimagined. Because to really harness this power, we have to completely redefine where the actual work happens. To wrap our heads around this, we need to clear up a massive misconception. Think of it like this. The model itself, whether you're using Claude, GPT, or Gemini, that's the driver. But the workspace, like Codex, Claude Code, or VS Code, that is the race car. The driver brings the intelligence, sure, but the race car is the integrated environment where the actual coding, building, and executing takes place. You can drop any driver you want into these race cars, but you absolutely need the right car to win the race. A prime example of an incredible race car right now is Codex. It's essentially an AI super app that unifies your chat, your workflows, and your memory. Because it connects directly to your entire codebase or project folder, it has full context of what you're doing. And this is huge. If you log in on your phone, your terminal, or your browser, it has a zero reset memory. You know how with a standard web chat, closing the window means losing all your context and starting from scratch? Well, with Codex, you pick up exactly where you left off. It's an environment actually built for doing work, not just having a conversation. Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of an AI Agent, Building Your Worker. So we've got our super workspace. How do we actually build an independent digital worker to sit inside it? I know people get pretty intimidated by the term AI agent, but honestly, an agent is really just made up of a few simple parts. You've got memory, which holds its standing facts in a simple markdown file. You've got tools, which give it a connection to the real world. Think Gmail, Slack, or web scrapers. You've got context, which are the specific rules you set for a project. But the most absolutely crucial part is the final piece, the loop. This is the heartbeat of action. See, a standard chatbot just sits there waiting for you to say something. An agent, it prompts itself. It looks at its current state, takes an action, sees the result, and loops back over and over until the goal is 100% crushed. And this perfectly illustrates what that loop looks like in the real world. Picture a Monday morning. You spin up an outbound agent. Completely on its own, it scrapes your website to learn your brand identity. Then it scours the web to find 20 highly qualified leads. It drafts custom LinkedIn DMs and emails for every single one of them. And finally, using its tools, it connects right to your Google Calendar and physically blocks out time next week for you to review and send them. It handles that entire multi-step grind while you're pouring your morning coffee or, sleeping in. Next up, Section 3, the multi-brain strategy, heavy lifting for pennies. Because relying on just one AI model for everything, super inefficient. We need to route tasks to specialized brains. This brings us to the triad system, or what I like to call the multi-brain strategy. This is where we use different models for their very specific strengths. We'll use a brilliant model like Claude Opus as the planner to decompose the task and write up the brief. Then we hand it off to an executor, say DeepSeek V4, to just grind through the heavy lifting overnight. Finally, we bring in a third model like Gemini or ChatGPT to act as the critic. It comes in and brutally reviews the workflow. No single brain is working in isolation here. They're constantly checking and balancing each other. Now, why use a model like DeepSeek V4 for the execution phase? To put it into perspective, DeepSeek V4 is up to 100 times cheaper than other frontier models, but it keeps about 95% of the performance. We're talking 87 cents compared to $75 for the exact same massive workload. That is wild. It's the ultimate overnight laborer. You just don't need maximum redlining brainpower for repetitive execution tasks. You just need it to be ridiculously cheap, highly capable, and completely tireless. All right, Section 4, Mastering Long-Term Goals, the Handshake Method. We've totally nailed short-term tasks, but what about those massive multi-week sprints? How do we keep our digital workforce on track over the long haul? The reality is, real meaningful goals aren't accomplished with just one prompt. They require what we like to call the Chief Wiggum method. It's where the human and the AI pass the baton back and forth working in this highly effective tandem. For example, if you want to launch a 5-day email course, week 1 is an AI sprint where it scopes the mission and writes the content. But week 2? That requires a human handshake. You actually have to sit down and record the promo video. The AI tags you in, you do the human part, you hand it back, and in week 3, the AI builds the opt-in engine and pushes the whole thing live. All of this builds on a really neat protocol called r/goal. This is the secret sauce that makes these long-term workflows possible. Setting an r/goal command basically tells the AI to create a mission that survives across multiple conversational turns. But to keep it from hallucinating or just running in circles, it has to be measurable, tightly scoped, and self-served. You give it a crystal clear binary outcome and it relentlessly pursues it across the weeks, only tagging you when your specific human handshake is absolutely required. And finally, Section 5, the Agentic Operating System, ruling your empire. We've got all this incredible chaotic power spread across different apps, models, and goals. So how do we centralize it all? Now, what's really interesting here is how the OS tracking pillars bring order to that chaos. You can't manage what you can't see, right? So an agentic OS brings your whole world together into a single visual intelligence dashboard. It tracks every cent you spend on model usage. It monitors the health of your vector memory databases, like Pinecone or Obsidian, which act as the long-term brain for your documents. It even flags redundant skills. But the best part? It has a net ROI calculator that tracks exactly how much time and money your automated agents are actually saving you, based on your personal hourly rate. But wait, here is the absolute mind-blowing unlock, the dreaming feature. While you sleep, your OS runs this background process that analyzes your daily workflows. Using tools that intelligently capture your screen history while still respecting your privacy with a 6-hour auto-delete function, it actively spots bottlenecks. So let's say it notices you did the same competitive research manually 4 times this week. When you wake up, it auto-recommends a brand new skill to completely bypass that manual work the very next day. It is literally self-improving your life while you rest. How cool is that? So we've moved completely away from just chatting with AI to managing an entire fleet of hyper-intelligent, practically free digital workers that dream up optimizations for us while we sleep. You now know how to build agents, how to leverage multi-brain strategies, and how to govern it all through an Agentic OS. So I'll leave you with this final empowering thought. If software is practically free and AI is eager to work relentlessly for you while you sleep, what are you going to build tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and start building your empire.